before I get into my intuitive thoughts for today, I got a person who claimed the medium reading yesterday. Ho ho! And there's some pretty specific things that were claimed in it. So, I mean, the most random one is not keyed in so far, which matters. I mean, it could matter to the other person that's involved, but I don't know. It's pretty darn clear. So go back and watch my video from last night. It'll say the medium reading in the car. I'm still sitting in the car. But go back and read that because the comments are pretty cool. As far as intuitive thoughts for today, there was a dream that I had 2 days ago, and I kind of wanted to sit on it and make sure that it was something to share because I wasn't certain if I was just keying into the fact that I've been watching The White Lotus. But I had another mention of it last night, and I kept thinking about it all day yesterday afternoon. There's definitely something to it. I think there's going to be some kind of cruise ship drama. And no, this is not an Overboard kind of thing. This is going to be some kind of big legal crackdown on some kind of ring of, I want to say either it's like a smuggling kind of thing, or it could be a drug related thing, or it could be a contraband kind of thing. But that's going to come up because I keep seeing getting off of a ship and going into what looks like a kind of a rundown area and collecting things and then carrying them with me back onto the ship. And so, and in the dream, I'm not me, obviously, but I'm one of several people that are spreading the load and kind of diluting it in a way. So I have a feeling that's going to come up. I also had a very clear message that, again, 2 nights in a row, about you have a choice. You can either take the long way to the elevators or, and again, this is weird because it was still showing up on the ship, but long way to the elevators where you go through all these different cabins and down all these different hallways and through these big stadiums and auditoriums. Or you can take the short way where you just go around the corner in the hallway. But the problem is if you take the short way, then you're missing all these beautiful places that you never would have seen otherwise. And if you take the short way, you also, yes, you get to the elevator faster, which means you get to your room faster, but you haven't experienced a whole lot in that moment. And there's so much to experience. And I think that that's just kind of a symbolic thing that somebody needs to hear. Also, once you get on the elevators, it doesn't really matter if you go up or down. Just get on the elevator because you still have the opportunity to press that button to go to your floor. And sometimes it's fun to go all the way to the top and see all these doors that open up and see all these places that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. If you went directly to your destination, you might have missed all these other opportunities to meet these people who get in and out of the elevator or to see what the doors open to as it stops at each floor. You'll get to your floor eventually, but why rush it? So that was another real thing that came in. I also have, there's something to do with a stick. It's like, what I'm actually seeing is it looks like, somebody taking like a wand or a staff and they stab it down into the ground and then something comes up from the ground. So I don't know if that means that there's going to be some kind of oil reserve that's found or some kind of aquifer that's found. It kind of makes it feel, it's almost like a magical kind of thing to me, where somebody takes this big heavy stick and they stab it down into the ground, and when they lift it up, something comes up from the ground. So I think that that's going to be something that comes out in the news. Again, still not watching the news, haven't since November. So if I do, now somebody said, well, how did you know about that if you don't watch the news? Well, I'm on TikTok. I mean, if it shows up on my FYP, I'm going to obviously know something happened, but I'm not going out and actively seeking out news sources and current events. And in that, I also have another prediction that you need to scrape off that top layer. the top layer. Like it's like I look at the news lately as putting turpentine down on some paint. And once you scrape away all those layers and layers and layers of paint to get down to the natural wood, you will see that it's all just coated paint. Because the surface that's directly underneath it is nowhere near as raised. It's nowhere near as thick. It's nowhere near as colorful. You need to scrape away the paint to get to the real solid wood that's directly underneath it. So there you have it. Intuitive thoughts for March. I mean, what are we now? We on the 8th? I think we're the 8th. March 8th, 2025.